Hello, my name is Jamie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Unlike any other YouTube channel that showcases Pokemon Go PvP content, mine exclusively showcases Shadow Pokemon. So, if you're into that type of content, I'd appreciate if you could like and subscribe.
So, let's get into today's video. This is one of the first longer videos I've posted in a while. I do apologise for that as I've been super busy with work. But we're back at it with some Open Master League. I say Open Master League Classic, as running Shadows I'm far too poor for the big boy league. Some of these battles you're about to see have been insane. With the meta switching up this season, with the introduction of things like Yveltal, Shadows have been super difficult to run. However, we do pull off some clutch wins, a few losses, but overall some fun battles. So the team we're running is going to be Dragonite, back on its standard moveset of Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw and Hurricane. We're going to have Shadow Machamp running Counter, Cross Chop, Rockslide, and of course equipped as our best buddy, the big boy, Shadow Snorlax running Lick, Superpower and Body Slam. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. We're going to be leading our Dragonite for the duration of the video, and in this first battle we pick up a rough lead against Melmetal. We instantly swap into our Snorlax, opponent stays in, they are going to throw a Superpower. We're going to no shield this, we know we can survive and we'll see what they bring in. And here is that Yveltal with the meta switch, so we're going to go with this Body Slam. And another Body Slam, we get the back to back, we should get them quite low. I didn't go for Superpower, I don't want the opponent to think they can farm us down. They are going to have to throw energy or we'll get to a third Body Slam. Move coming through, we're going to let this go through and now we're going to look to come back in with our Dragonite and commit to the farm down. We'll wait out a switch timer, back in comes Dragonite, we are going to have to eat a move. Dragonite is super squishy, this Dark Pulse is going to hurt a lot, it does about 60%. See, we're into the yellow, however we managed to farm down, we're now spamming that Machamp. Let's see what they've got in the back. We're hoping it's a double steel line. And in the back they do have a Dialga, so it is a double steel line. This could be time for Machamp to sweep. First cross chop gets the shield. We're going to outpace him to this second cross chop. Opponent's just at the Iron Head now, so I imagine they're going to shield to try and get this off, which they do. So we're going to shield this up as well and look to commit to the farm down, which we get here. And this cross chop should get the Melmetal down to about 30% health, which it does. Looks like the opponent is trying to Thunder Shock us down, but they're unable to do so. So we take that first game. GG to the opponent. We managed to come back from a super rough lead. So in this matchup, we have the mirror. Unfortunately, as we're not running Dragon Town on this one, we do actually lose the mirror. So we look to catch on our Snorlax, which we do successfully. You can see there the Dragon Claw doesn't do too much. An opponent actually brings in a Heracross. This is a real spicy pick, as I don't think Heracross got too much play against many things, but obviously against our team it does alright. As it obviously resists counter due to its bug fighting types. We can't bring in Machamp, and it obviously hammers our Snorlax safe swap, like you can see. So we win CMP, we fire off the Dragon Claw, opponent does shield, which is a bit strange, as neither of these moves are going to hurt us. So opponent does fire that off. Back to back close combat, so we're going to look to snipe it down with Machamp. And in the back they've got a Metagross. So Machamp has half a chance here of sweeping, although it is going to be a big ask. So we're going to fire off this cross chop. Gets the Metagross quite low. They're just looking to finish it off with fast moves at this stage, it looks like. So in comes the Dragonite. We're going to bait with this cross chop. If the opponent shields, I'm going to go straight cross. Doesn't shield, I'll go straight cross chop. As they do shield, we are going to get to this rockslide. This rockslide is going to be enough to take out this Dragonite. We're going to see if we can. One counter is going to be enough. Unfortunately, as the resisted counter, they survive and we go down. The spicy pick there was terrible for us, but we made it super close again. So in this third matchup, yet another terrible lead. So again, we safe switch into our big boy Snorlax. Opponent is building up to the back to back. So you can see there on the 10th Thunder Shock, I CMP tie them with the Body Slam. I do this because I know they're going to be inclined to shield now they've dropped their defense. We do get the shield. Opponent's going to fire off the next Superpower, which we are going to allow to come through, as now it's one stage debuffed, it won't be doing as much damage. And now the opponent again brings in a Dragonite. So Snorlax in an okay spot here, as we are going to be able to get this Dragonite quite low. Opponent is going to have to throw us energy, or we're going to outpace into the second Body Slam, which we do here. This now gets the dragonite really low. We're going to look to snipe our own dragonite once we wait out our switch timer. Unfortunately, no dragon breath through, so we're unable to snipe. We are going to have to take this move, which is fine. Does a lot to dragonite. You can see there's over half our health, one dragon claw. The glass cannon. We're again spamming that swap of Machamp, and in the back's a Dialga. So again, Machamp's in an alright spot. Let's see if Machamp can sweep again. Opponent shields this up. They're now down to no shield, so we're going to look to shield this up as well. And I'm going to look to commit to the farm down. We are now super low on health. I'm hoping to get to 2 cross chops. First one comes through. We need to survive 2 thunder shocks, which we're unable to do, unfortunately. And we're outpaced to this next charge move. Again, from a super rough lead, the opponent wins with a couple of HP. GG's to that opponent. Was in a bit of a rough spot. Perhaps I could have thrown on the Dialga and looked to try and outpace the Melmetal to the cross chop. But I think they would have beat us. So either way, a bit of a rough matchup there, but we keep it close. We get a great lead for a change in this next match. We lead our Dragonite into Giratina. They bring in Melmetal. Machamp's a great answer to this. We no shield the superpower and we look to get off this cross chop. Opponent no shields. I'll let the superpower come through as I know they're going to come back in with that Giratina. I want to give it as little farm as possible. We're just going to get off this rockslide for a bit of chip damage, which we do here. Now, unfortunately, this Giratina is quite loaded on energy. So we're in a bit of a tough spot. We bring in our Snorlax and opponent switches out into Mamoswine. This is an okay matchup for Snorlax, but in the 2 shield, Mamoswine does outpace us and these avalanches hit a lot harder than our body slams. We get the opponent's first shield. And now we're going to go for another body slam. Body slam comes through, opponent double shields. At this stage, I'm going to let our Snorlax go down and I'm going to rely on Dragonite up shields to close out this game. We are taking double super effective damage from this Mamoswine. So we're going to have to shield up everything, but they are quite squishy. This Dragon Claw should be enough to take them out, and we've saved our shield for that loaded Giratina. There are 8 Shadow Claws, this is now 9, so they've got enough for the Shadow Ball. However, my win con here is calling the bait, and the opponent does bait. Like I always say, pros don't bait. If they would have went straight Shadow Ball, they would have won the match. However, they chose to try and bait my shield, but I'm not giving it up, and that is a GG's. We win that game. So in that last matchup, the mistake the opponent made is they should have went straight Shadow Ball. They would have had enough energy to go Shadow Ball. Even if I shielded, they would have had enough energy to get to the next Shadow Ball. But moving on into this next match, we had our Dragonite lead into Ho-Oh, which is great. They say switch into Lugia and we bring in Snorlax. We correctly shield the Aeroblast, which is great for us. And now we look to get off these body slams. Lugia is super tanky. Although we're hitting it with super effective licks and they're hitting us with neutral Dragon Tails, Lugia can actually win this matchup in even shields. But we managed to win the 1 versus 0 shield, which is great. They bring back in Ho-Oh. We're going to fire off these body slams. They don't do too much, however the opponent lets us get to another one. I try and CMP tie them, but it looks like the opponent is committing to a farm down, which could be a mistake. Opponent really needs to throw and get to another body slam. Opponent is committing to the farm down. And we manage to get to yet another body slam. We get the shield and we look to snipe with our Dragonite. Unfortunately, we're unable to do so. An opponent goes for a bait, which is a wrong play again. We manage to no shield and we do commit to the farm down. In the back's a Yveltal. So these Dragon Claws are going to do quite a bit of damage to this and the Snarls hardly do anything. Another Dragon Claw should get the opponent quite low, which it does. Charge move coming through. I'm going to let this go through and we're going to be in a great spot here with our Machamp to close out this game. Wait out our switch timer. In comes the Machamp. And it looks like the opponent backs out. GG's to the opponent. Again, opponent baiting cost them the match. They should have went straight Brave Bird. However, we take those. So moving on into this next battle. We've got yet another terrible lead by Dragonite into Melmetal. So you know we're going to switch into our Snorlax, which we do here. Opponent only has enough for one move, so I am going to no shield. Superpower comes through and opponent switches that into a Zekrom. I'm going to get off this first body slam, which is going to do a nice bit of chip damage. And I'm going to get off a superpower. I know the opponent is going to commit to a farm down, so this superpower will lower my defense, so give them less farm. I'm going to wait out my switch timer. I'm going to bring in Dragonite. We're going to look to farm down. I'm going to no shield the Wild Charge. Wild Charge is going to hurt a lot as it is neutral because of our Dragon Flying typing. Does about 75% health, but I'm going to rely on Shadow Machamp to close out this game. Opponent stays in with Melmetal. So I am going to shield up this superpower. And in the back they've got a Dialga again, so there's another double steel line, so Machamp is in an alright position again. Let's see if we can manage to close out this game. Charge move coming through again. We're going to fire off another cross chop. We'll see if the opponent wants to double shield. Opponent does double shield. We are going to have to shield this up. We're getting super low on HP. This Dialga is absolutely tearing us apart, so we're going to have to throw. I would have liked to commit to the farm down, but you can see our HP is far too low. I'm going to instantly swap out into our Dragonite. Charge move coming through. This is going to be enough. We're going to have to try and get to the cross chop. However, we're unable to do so. So GG's to that opponent. You can see in that last matchup how unforgiving this Master League is. Machamp has a stat product of around 4,000. Dialga has a 7,000. So even though we're hitting them for super effective and they're hitting us for neutral, unfortunately the Dragon Breath is almost outpacing counter. So on to this next matchup. We no shield this Side Strike. We look to get off this Dragon Claw. And we're going to instantly swap out into our Safe Switch looking to snipe. We get a bit of lag and we actually both simultaneously swap. So now we have Snorlax, Dialga. This is an okay matchup, especially as we're equipped with Best Buddy. I've equipped my Snorlax as Best Buddy as you need a 13 defense to reach a bulk point against Dragon Breath. So if you are using a Snorlax and you have at least 13 defense, the Dragon Breath will be doing one less damage. We unsuccessfully bait a Body Slam, but we've got enough for the superpower, so this will take them out if they don't shield. Which they don't. So we managed to win switch, and in the back they have a Yveltal. We're going to get off this Body Slam to a nice bit of chip damage. Looks like the opponent is going to try and commit to a farm down, so they're going to get hit with yet another move. Another Body Slam comes through. Oh, we just missed out on the last minute Body Slam, which is unfortunate. We're now in a rough spot as this Yveltal is absolutely loaded on energy. I bring in the Dragonite. Opponent throws his energy, which is great for us. And then we bring in a Machamp. They have enough for the Focus Blast, but yet again I'm going to call a bait. Just a Dark Pulse, which is great for us. They bring in the Mewtwo. We're going to shield this up and we're going to look for the counter down. We managed to get the counter down. And one counter takes out the Yveltal. So again, we're in a rough spot. And again, calling the bait wins us the match. In that last matchup, the opponent had to go with the correct move of the Focus Blast, because they would have got my last shield or took me out. And they would have been able to finish it off with the Side Strike. We take those. We get a great lead in this next matchup. Our Ho-Oh lead is great for our Dragonite. They Safe Switch into Giratina Altered. We meet him with Snorlax. Interestingly enough, even though these Shadow Claws hit us for resisting, our Lick hits them for super effective, Snorlax will lose this in the Zero Shield. Because they're so spammy to these Dragon Claws, which hit us for neutral, and our Body Slam is double resisted due to the Dragon Ghost typing. You can see there, we're just going to try and spam out these Body Slams with a little bit of chip. Opponent again gets to a charge move. This is going to get a super low. Now the opponent has the opportunity to win switch should they wish to shield a double resisted Body Slam. Opponent does shield, which is fine for us, and they actually throw their energy. So although we lose switch, we have got shield advantage, which is always good when you've got triple shadows. We look to come in with Machamp to counter down a Ghost, because I know they're going to come back in with this Ho-Oh. Now we look to get this rockslide off. Let's see if the opponent wants to give up his last shield. They do. The opponent makes a great swap on the second rockslide. However, this Dialga is still going to get hit with A lot of counter damage, and now our Dragonite's in a great position to close out this game. Dragon Claw comes through. This is enough to take out the Dialga, and now we've got this loaded Ho-Oh. Again, is the opponent going to go straight Brave Bird, or are they going to bait? The opponent does bait. However, we are going to outpace them to this next move, so we could easily shield this up and win that game. GG's to the opponent. We pick up a lead against Groudon. Opponent instantly swaps into Dialga, so we're going to instantly swap into our Machamp. We're going to spam out this cross chop, and we'll see what the opponent wants to do. Opponent actually shields this up, which is a bit surprising as most don't. We are going to match shields, we are going to be able to outpace him to another cross chop. I actually commit to the farm down, which is great for us. We survive with a couple of HP and we've got a nice bit of loaded energy. We'll see what the opponent wants to bring back in. Opponent brings back in the Groudon, so they are going to have to eat this cross chop, which is a nice bit of chip damage. We look to try and get to a second, but unfortunately get mud shot down. We're going to wait out our switch timer and bring back in our Dragonite. Opponent instantly swaps into a Snorlax of their own, so now we've got Purified Snorlax versus Shadow Snorlax. Opponent builds up a lot of energy. I'm going to get off this Body Slam. This Snorlax is pretty much dead weight to me at the moment, as I know my win condition is the Dragonite. Opponent only throws a Body Slam. I am now going to go for the Superpower. Let's see if the opponent wants to shield. Superpower lands and gets the Snorlax super low. Again, I know my win condition is a Dragonite, so I'm not going to shield this Snorlax. Opponent again only goes for a Body Slam. They are going to have to throw their energy again to get rid of us. Body Slam comes through, takes us out. We are going to now look to farm them down. However, they do make a switch into Groudon. They shield up this Dragon Claw. I imagine this is going to be the Earthquake. Although double resisted, it does hurt quite a lot. The opponent baits us with a Fire Punch, but at this stage it looks like we're just going to be able to win with fast moves. Another charge move coming through. This time it is the Earthquake. You can see it still does around 40%, even though it's double resisted. Now we're going to fire off this Dragon Claw into the Snorlax, which is going to take the game. So GG's to the opponent. In that matchup, we just managed to keep alignment, and in the end it was an easy victory. So, moving on into our last battle of the set. So, we've got our Dragonite lead into a Giratina. Shiny Giratina at that. The opponent switches into Dialga. Again, we're meeting with Machamp. We're going to spam off this cross chop. We'll see if this opponent lets it through or wants to shield it up. Opponent lets it through, which is great for us. I know they're going to come back in with this Giratina, and again, they're going to look to farm us down. I'm faking the payback, fake it till you make it. We'll see if the opponent wants to respect it. They do not. I try and commit to the second rock slide. Unfortunately, we do get farmed down. This Giratina is now loaded on energy. So we bring in our Snorlax. Whatever the opponent throws, it isn't going to do much damage. Opponent builds up more energy and then switches out into Togekiss. So our Dragonite is going to have to face a loaded Giratina endgames. I can't bring my Dragonite back on into this Togekiss. Opponent shields that up. Charge move coming through. It's going to be the Ancient Power, but I need this Snorlax to take this Togekiss out. We get a nice bit of lag. You love to see it. And now we look to get off these two Body Slams. One should get the shield, which it does. The second one should get it quite low. Opponent sneaks a Charm through, which isn't great for us, as our Snorlax is probably going to be taken out. We come back in with Dragonite. We do have to take a Charm. We do farm down. Opponent comes back in with Giratina. They have enough for the Shadow Ball. However, I'm going to call this as a bait. Just an ominous wind. We're going to outpace him to this Dragon Claw. And that's going to be enough to take the game. So GG's to that opponent. We win with a shield in hand. So that's it for this video. If you did enjoy the battles and enjoy the content, I'd really appreciate if you smash that like button and hit the subscribe. It really helps the channel grow, as we are still quite a new channel. And thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.